What if I told you that in your next video you can act like a speaker with 30 years of experience? How big of a change would it have on your view? Even if you're camera shy, if you implement these 11 tips throughout your next videos, you're going to talk like a professional. Just remember, I can't implement it for you. You have to do it, and the faster you will do it, the faster you will see results. First, comfortable. If you're uncomfortable, speaking is so much harder. You cannot speak correctly if you're anxious or stressed. Be comfortable. Wear the clothes you like. Smell good. If you sit down while recording just like me, then have a good, comfortable chair. At first, you're not going to be comfortable in the camera, but if you use your environment to create a comfortable place, it's going to be much easier. Let's say your mind is full of ideas, or you're stressed, or you have this anxiety. What you can do first is you can go on a walk in order to clear your mind and have focus which you can put into the video. Second, be yourself. This sounds a bit cliche, but I know that you have already watched the video when something was wrong. You watched the video and you haven't felt that connection with the creator. Something was off, and that was because that person was trying to create some kind of fake person and trying to show not themselves on the camera. You have to be yourself. People came for your advice. You have to be like you would be in your friend group, and with them you don't fear talking, so you have to imagine something like that. You're talking to your friend. Thirdly, make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because everyone does. Even if you look at the best speeches in the world, they made some kind of mistake. It's natural. You mustn't fear it. It adds some kind of natural human touch to it. The other day I was watching a video, and in that video the guy said 5 times the word or this something mirrored reciprocation. He tried it 5 times until it was said correctly. But it was in the video, and I felt that human connection to that person, because it's something that I also do when I'm creating these videos. I also mess up things, so I could feel that human connection to it because I know what it feels like. So in that case, the mistake wasn't a problem, rather it was a virtue. You have to take imperfect action to get near perfect results. Fourthly, imagine. When you sit down and talk and you see that object, the camera pointing at you, it's kind of frightening. But if you imagine that you're talking to a friend, it gets so much natural. And what I used to do is that I close my mind and I think about that is my friend there. I'm talking to my friend, and when I think about this and I open up, I see it as something natural because I know that it's my friend. It's not an object, it's not something I have to fear. It's just a natural conversation I hold with my friend. Imagine someone who is familiar, your brother, sister, dad, girlfriend, friend, anyone who can bring you into a natural calm state. Whoever it is, it will help you open up. Fifth, modes of thinking. Ali Abdal introduced me to this idea, which is the 2 modes of thinking when you're recording yourself. The first is the coffee mode, and second is the presentation mode. The coffee mode is imagining the recording process as having a coffee with your friend. It's like a chill hour. You just talk and you explain the ideas which you have in your mind to the camera right now. The presentation mode is like proving a point, like you want to change the viewer's perspective. Like if I want to talk about something really deep and hard to understand, I'm going to go into presentation mode. If you want to think about a real life example how this presentation mode could be, it's like presenting in front of your company. These 2 modes can put you into the right vibration, so the right behavior and the right theme for your video. Sixth, smile. If you have consumed content from the top creators, you have probably seen that they are all constantly smiling. And you have to put on a smile before creating, because the facial feedback hypothesis makes us happy if we smile. There were some studies done like if you're smiling, you will be more happy. But it's not just you who is going to be happy when you're smiling, but the viewer, of course, because it's an endless cycle. It's when you smile, you're most likely going to get a smile back. So if you're smiling in the recording process, the viewer is going to feel much happier, and you want to create that in the viewer. You want to create that feeling of happiness because they are going to associate that with you. Seventh, body language. If you're the person who uses his hands to explain some kind of points, so some gestures and this stuff, you cannot take that away from yourself. You have to use it in order to prove your point. What I realized with myself is that when I started using my hands and body language within my videos, I started to feel more confident on camera, because I know that it's not just me who's trying to explain some kind of idea, but it's me, some kind of conversation with the person who's on the other side of the screen. There's a good advice which I learned also from Ali Abdal, is that imagine that you have a box in front of you and only use that space to do those hand gestures. Now, of course, I did the other times I did stuff like this, but this is not something you should do. You should have a really small box in front of you, which is the place where you want to do those hand gestures. Of course, never put your hand in your pocket, behind your back, or in crossed arms, because that in different cultures this has this negative connotation. So people think you're holding a weapon, or just they don't feel the right thing when they are watching the video. 8. Warm up. Every speaker warms up before going on the stage. And why is that? Because you produce sounds with your muscles. And before every workout you do, you need to warm up those muscles in the same way you need to warm up before every speech you're going to give. There is a lot of ways to warm up, it's different for everyone. What I do is I start speaking English, because English is my third language. I need to start thinking in English, and I need to warm up my ability to speak English correctly. 9th, focus. A lot of times you fear talking to a camera because you fear what is going to be the results. You are thinking, how do I look? Will my video get views? Will people laugh at me? If you're not in the present moment explaining your ideas and getting it through to the viewer, then you're in your thoughts and thinking about something totally different, which you shouldn't do. You need to bring your focus back to the present, because that is the way you can present your ideas correctly. How I do it is really simple, because I say some simple tongue twisters. Because it's really hard to say it, you have to be focusing on the present moment when you're saying that. You cannot be thinking about something else. For example, in my Hungarian language, which I used to say is that mit sütsz kis szűcs, talán só sütsz kis szűcs. So probably you didn't understand the word from this. But of course there are other ways you can get into the present. For example, you can ask questions to realize what is in front of you, what is near you, what's in the present moment right now. You can ask, what do I see? I see the camera, I see the lights, I see the books. Or what do I hear? Well, my laptop is going. And what do I feel? So I don't know, I'm a bit hungry. Or what kind of emotions do I have? If you can think about this, you can get into the present moment and you can appreciate the time and understand that you have to focus right now on presenting this idea to the viewer. 10th, affirmation. I lack confidence, and I think that's a psychological trait of mine, but I'm working on it, of course. Because of this trait, I have these kind of thoughts before every video. Well, nobody's going to watch the video. They don't care. It is a bad video. These kind of thoughts have in my mind, of course. Not every time, but a lot of times. So because I'm trying really hard to explain some kind of thought, these other emotions which is in my hand and they are just floating there all around, it just bothers me. I just can't really focus on the video. So what I do is I say affirmations before every video. Whenever I sit down, I hit the record button. For the first 1 or 2 minutes, I say some affirmations. Right now, before this video, I actually didn't say it because it wasn't in my mind. I didn't have bad emotions. But usually what I say is that, Robert, you're confident. You're confident this video is going to help people. You're confident you can help anyone on the other side of the screen. You're confident in your ability to create a really good video. And XYZ thing which is going to build up my confidence. I'm going to feel much better on this time when I'm explaining to the camera. I usually say affirmations like this, and it helps me really deal with the negative emotions which come from my shadow, if you have learned a bit about psychology and Carl Jung, but I have to learn more. 11th is practice. I could give you all of the secrets right now, but if you don't practice, you're not going to go anywhere. That's why the last step of becoming a professional speaker in front of a camera is practice. Start small. Pick up your phone every day for 5 minutes or 1 minute and just start talking. Do this every day. Do it for 3 months. Do it for 5 months. Do it until you can easily speak in front of a camera. Now that doesn't mean that you can explain everything really easily, but it means that you don't fear talking to a camera. If you go right now and watch my first video, you're going to see a huge difference between me then and me now. But of course it's going to take more or less time for you as well. But I'm 100% sure that if you do it consistently every single day, then you're going to be one of the best speakers in the world. These were 11 tips from me on how to become better and talking in front of a camera. We do not reach our goals, we become the person who can achieve them. If you already heard this advice and still didn't get that success, let me help you out. Every single successful person tells us we need to become the person who can achieve these things, but no one tells us how. Through my longest journey and a lot of failed businesses, I have realized that I have a framework which can help me achieve my goals. This is the OQP framework. If you're interested in this, there's a link down below where you can get this free resource and you can work and use it for your own advantage to reach your goals. If you are ever thinking about creating your personal brand, creating your first piece of content, let me help you out, because I'm starting my coaching and it's totally free for a limited time. For a limited time, I'm going to get on one-on-one free calls with you guys. It's going to be a link down below in the description. You have to fill out a form. I will contact you and we will hop in on calls. So if you want to build your personal brand, you want to go from 0 to 20k just like how I did, there is a link down below and I'm going to help you do it. See you later.